What's up, you guys? Welcome to Sustain Global. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining the family. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your presence here. Before you go, please consider subscribing and listen in. If you like this content, just drop a like, and that way I will know that you guys like the content. You guys like the topics so far. And so today we are on the 8th episode of the series, What Christmas Means for Women. And I thought we should just quickly look at the topic on femininity versus feminism. And just to clear the air, this episode or Sustain Global generally is just here to give sustainable solutions, give sustainable opinions, and not to give sort of opposing any other person out there or coming for somebody. No, we're just here to give an honest opinion, a sustainable opinion at that, and to just be sure that we are giving safe opinions. So one of the things I would like to clear out is that I understand that there is toxic feminism, and then there's also toxic femininity for sure. And then there is the positive sides of femininity and the positive sides of feminism. So just being sure that we have understood that, we're going to, as we go on, we're going to be looking at what are these positive sides of feminism and femininity, and the toxic sides of feminism and femininity, just to be sure that we are safe, just to be sure that we are okay on everything. And quickly looking at Proverbs 31 verse 30, it says, "Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised." Now, straight from that verse, you can literally see the positive sides of femininity and feminism and the toxic sides of femininity and feminism. For example, those women, if you ask somebody right now, somebody would just give you a basic idea of femininity as maybe a picture of a woman who is wearing pink, is wearing a long flowy and floral dress, or has the love for flowers, loves to bake. But technically, femininity looks like somebody who is supportive, who is cooperative, who is caring, who fears the Lord and wishes to do kindness towards everybody. She has leadership over her homestead, and she makes the decisions that are safe and good and healthy for the homestead. She cares for the husband if she has a husband, and if she doesn't, she carries herself in a way that is respectable around other people. And a feminist is a person who advocates for women's rights. She is a woman who celebrates her strength and understands her position. And so she doesn't allow for herself for somebody to look down upon her. As we know that there was a time when Timothy was talking to fellow youth, and he was telling them that do not allow the other people to look down upon you because of your youth. Similarly, a feminist is a person who doesn't want to allow herself to be looked down upon just because she is a woman. And so we're going to look at further inspiration from the Bible that actually supports the position of feminism. And 1 Corinthians 11 verse 9 says that a man was not created for woman, but woman was created for man. And so this position alone tells you that it doesn't make sense when we see social doings that seem to disrespect the place of women and look as if man is so superior to woman, yet the woman was created for man. So when God was creating man, he created him, and then he saw that he was lonely, and so he chose to create a helper for him. And so the fact that woman was created for man just gives a strong position for the woman. And it goes to show that the man would probably not survive, would probably not be where he is without the woman being there to help him. And First Corinthians 11 verse 10 says that for this reason, a woman ought to have authority over her own head. And so this idea, this analogy probably raises eyebrows because the man is the head of the family, but it says that she ought to have authority. And so as much as the man is the head, the woman should be able to be in a position to also make decisions, should be also in a position to advise and, give our own opinion over some of the things that are being done in the family. We just recently looked at it's coming up, and the topic a virtuous woman is actually coming up in one of the episodes. And so we're going to be looking at how a virtuous woman is actually trusted by their husband. The husband fully trusts them to make decisions that are safe for the family, and the husband does not regret trusting the wife. That is why 1 Corinthians 11 verse 10 says that a woman ought to have authority over her own head. But then it comes to the position where what if she isn't trustworthy, Because if she is not trustworthy, then she cannot have authority because she will not make decisions that are safe for the homestead or for the family. And so there is that. And 1 Corinthians 11 verses 11 now says, the woman is not independent of man, nor man independent of the woman. So this goes to say that there is equal partnership between men and women, and no one is independent of anyone. Like a woman cannot be there on their own without the man, and a man cannot be there on their own without the woman. You cannot be independent of any other. So you are dependent on each other, knowing that you are dependent on each other. The woman depends on the man and the man depends on the woman. We should coexist just symbiotically, depending on each other for whatever we need, creating that partnership and just living in harmony with each other. These are some of the positive aspects of femininity and feminism. Now, 1 Corinthians 11 verse 12 says, woman came from man, also man is born of woman. And so this also goes to show you that this analogy of the man is superior and looking down upon women, because the toxic side of masculinity is when men think that women have nothing to say, women have no place, women are just here to be controlled. It's a no, because man is also born of woman, just the way a woman came from man. In the beginning, man is also born of woman. So we have that relationship, and so we should just rely on each other rather than look down upon any other of the gender, right? And so above all, 1 Corinthians 11 verse 13 says, judge for yourselves. And this is the reason why I really like Paul, because he breaks the ice and then he allows the conversation to just continue. For instance, after saying all these, he says, judge for yourselves. And so even in 1 Corinthians 10 verses 23, there's a part that he says, I have the right, depending on whatever Bible version you're using, you're going to see different terminologies. It says, I have the right to do anything. Or in other versions, it can say, everything is lawful, or everything is acceptable, everything is moral. So I have the right to do anything, but not everything is beneficial. So do you understand how he is literally just breaking the ice and allowing you to judge for yourself how to view a situation? And this is the baseline for deciding whether to go with the positive femininity and positive feminism, or to rely on the toxic sides of femininity and feminism. And let me tell you that the toxic sides will actually destroy you. The toxicity of femininity will, first of all, harm you. It will put you in harm, at the risk of mental health, issues, at the risk of physical harm, at the risk of burnout, at the risk of losing your identity. And then toxic feminism is going to put you at the risk of losing respect, losing love, and just losing your dignity as a woman, because you seem so arrogant, and you seem as if you're coming for the place of men, as if you want to become a man, when literally you cannot be a man. You can only be a woman, and just live in your space in equal partnership, in equal cooperation. And so when Paul says that I have the right to do anything, yes, we have the right to do anything. As a woman, you have the right to do anything. You have the right to view anything anyhow you want. But is everything beneficial? No, not everything is beneficial. Some of the things are going to harm us. Some of the things are going to be a waste of time, and some of the things are going to be a waste of effort. And so, furthermore, like the Bible speaks about the rights of women, for example, in leadership, because feminism is, standing up for the rights of women. So the rights of women in leadership, the rights of women in the family, the rights of women at work, these things go far beyond. For example, we have Deborah the judge in the history of the Israelites. We have Esther or Hadassah, the chosen queen. And then we have Miriam, who was sent alongside Moses and Aaron. So this goes to show you that women have a place, and this is why feminism exists, to uphold these places of women, which for a long time some communities, some toxic cultural beliefs have despised the place of women. And when the Bible calls on wives to submit to their husbands, I know the word submission on itself can be so triggering nowadays for a lot of women, a lot of young ladies who are so scared to submit to their husbands, of the idea of submitting to somebody, thinking that when they submit, they're going to lose their identity. When they submit, they're going to lose who they are. They're going to lose their dreams and their visions. But here's the thing. The Bible cannot be calling us as women, knowing that there is a Deborah in one of the women, there is an Esther in one of the women, there is a Miriam in one of the women. The Bible cannot be calling women to submit to their husbands and lose their identity. The idea here is to find somebody whom you are equally yoked, to find somebody who understands you, to find somebody who will uphold your dreams and visions. And that way, I know, submissions will just come naturally. It will come in itself, because you understand that this is a man under whom I can be loyal, I can be faithful to him. And so that's the word I hear whenever I hear about submission. To submit is to be faithful. To submit is to be loyal. And so this can be a new perspective for you if you are struggling with understanding the word submission, if you are struggling with identifying your position as a woman, as a wife in marriage, if you're approaching marriage and you are so scared of the word submission, if you don't understand what it means, look here and get a new perspective, because to submit is to be faithful, is to be loyal. And even Jesus himself was submissive to God the Father. He was loyal, and he defended the kingdom of God, and he defended the work of God, and he defended who God was under all whatever he went through. And so because Jesus is guiding our path, because Jesus is showing us the way, let us not forget that even men are actually urged to love their wives as Christ loved the church. So they too have a really big responsibility, and which we can't even imagine, we can't understand. As women, they have that role. And so for you to find that man who can love you as Christ loved the church, to love you unconditionally, to be willing to show you grace and mercy, to be willing to show you the direction, to be willing to hold your hand whenever you're down, and for you to be faithful along the way, for you to be loyal and protect their name, protect their identity. Do not go talking bad and talking down of about your man. Do not go talking down or talking bad about your whoever you are in a relationship with, because you understand that it is your role to be faithful to them and to be loyal to them and to protect them, because they trust you with who they are. They trust you with what they have, and it's upon you to protect that. And this goes back to 1 Corinthians 11 verse 10, where it says that the woman ought to have authority. And so that authority that has been bestowed upon you as the woman, you need to be able to protect it and safeguard it for the purpose and for the sake of your family. Now, we are going to talk briefly about toxic femininity, because somebody may ask, what is toxic femininity? I think I had hinted shortly about it when we talked about Proverbs 31 verse 30, that says charm is deceitful and beauty is vain. And in some of the parts of scripture in Proverbs, we've been told that we see the Bible warning men against women who are charming, because a charming woman can literally destroy a kingdom. A charming woman may probably cause a king to be drunk and forget to wisely lead their people, and so they fall and the kingdom gets destroyed. And then beauty is obviously temporary, and beauty can be deceiving. And so it's just useless to rely on beauty. For women who think that they can get somewhere because of their charm, for women who think that they can get there because they're beautiful, I mean, you can only be pretty, but without character, without your fear of the Lord, there is no way that you can stand out. There is no way that you can set yourself apart and be seen as a woman who can be loyal, as a woman who can be faithful. And so toxic feminism also comes in avenues where, you know how we are talking about submission. The people who take submission the wrong way and think that they should just be there to be controlled and to be told everything to do. And if they don't obey, they should be mistreated or they should be mishandled. And at the end of the day, they end up getting injured, they end up getting harmed. And also, there is the toxic sides of femininity where, you know how a feminine woman is supportive and cooperative and caring and is there for the family and is there for whoever they are with, because they are feminine. They are accommodating. And so it gets to a point where you are so accommodating that you forget about yourself, you forget about your needs, and then you don't take care of your needs, and so you run the risk of getting burnout. You run the risk of going through mental health issues because you forget to care for yourself. I mean, even the Bible talks about a feminine woman cares for herself. A feminine woman looks out for her needs. In Proverbs 31, the Proverbs 31 woman, there are a lot of attributes given there about the woman. And it says that she is prepared for tough times. She is prepared for even unprecedented times. And so a person who is prepared for unprecedented times cannot easily run the risk of, going through mental health issues, because they were prepared, because they looked out for themselves. And so looking at it as self-care, looking at your femininity as a chance for you to care for yourself and just really focus so much on who you are as a woman and protecting your needs before you also go ahead and protect others. We are trained especially in the African homestead, for you to serve other people before you serve yourself, for you to watch out for the needs of others before you look out for your own needs. And it gets to a point where you really forget who you are. You really lose your identity in the midst of all that, okay? So that should not be the case. That when it gets to that point, now it becomes toxic. And so you may ask, like, who is a woman who fears the Lord? And because a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. So who is this woman who fears the Lord? I think she is a woman who has allowed God to create in her a clean heart and give her the righteous spirit, which is seen through her actions. For example, her actions are, the fruits of her life, for where these fruits should be similar to the work of Christ. And these fruits can be compassion, they can be warmth, love, kindness, grace, loyalty. And so, I mean, even if you see loyalty, compassion, warmth, love, and grace and kindness, all these are attributes that Jesus had. And so being feminine is not just being a basic woman. Being feminine is walking in the will of God, working in the purpose that God has called us for as women, walking in the journey, walking in line as who we should really be as women. And just that is the strength of women. Just that is the strength of being a lady, being feminine. And feminism is here to uphold the calling of women, not to fight for opportunities with men, but to remind them that the playing field should really be fair for all, that no one should be looking down upon the other, but rather we are equal partners. And so make the playing field be fair for all. And as much as equality can be difficult to achieve, there's also another viewpoint towards equality, and this is called equity. Now, when it comes to equity, we have to understand that we were created to help each other, to be companions. And God even gives different roles to different he gives different roles to men, he gives different roles to women, but we have a lot of meeting points along the way. We have a lot of meeting points along the journey of being who we are, along the journey of finding our purpose. And so these should also not depart from what we think and what we know. Okay? And so before we forget, before we fail to understand feminism, before we fail to understand femininity in the proper way, let us remember and knowing that in positions where we need to defend our rights as women, in positions where we need to uphold the calling of women, where we need to uphold the purpose of womanhood, we need to remember that there was a Deborah in the delivery of justice to Israelites. There was an Esther in the saving of the Jews. And there was a Miriam in the leading of Israelites out of Egypt, okay? So don't look down upon yourself as a woman. You should be a feminist as well. In the positive side, not the toxic feminism, because toxic feminism runs the risk of being called ignorant and runs the risk of not being taken seriously, because why are you fighting with men? Why are you fighting for things that really they are not for you? I believe that as much as we are equal partners, there's also a place for men and there's a place for women. There's just a small area where we need to separate our places as men and women. For example, in just speak of reproductive and just our physical outlooks. We are not the same in those perspectives, right? In those aspects, we are different, and so we have to accept that. However, feminism, as I've said, it is here to uphold the calling of women. It is here to remind people who tend to look down upon women that, hey, this is the purpose of women as well. Leadership is also the place of women, just as we see in Deborah the judge and other leaders in the Bible who are strongly leaders in wherever position that they were. We have Esther, we have Miriam, and I can go on and on and on, listing all these women who made impact in the Bible, who are seen as feminine and who are feminist for their communities and who are speaking up for the rights of people and just displaying the fear of God, showing compassion, showing warmth, showing love, kindness, grace, and loyalty to the people around them, to their husbands, to their communities, and overall worshiping God with their lives and worshiping God with what they have. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening. I hope I haven't worn you out with the long conversations. I really don't even notice when time is running out, when time is hitting literally 25 minutes of me just talking. But it's important for us to have an in-depth understanding, especially when it comes to femininity and feminism, because people tend to really separate these two aspects, these two theories. But at the end of the day, they have a merging point. They are really close to each other because they belong together. We should not be separating femininity and feminism because they belong together, okay? It's just the strength of it. And as I have mentioned, there is the positive femininity and positive feminism. And then now there is the negative, which is toxic, which that is what we should be avoiding. And really, that is what we should be speaking against. But at the end of the day, feminism and femininity, they are not different. They are not that different. They really belong together. They complement each other. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much, you guys. I really hope that you've learned. I hope that you have developed a new understanding, a new perspective towards all these subjects, towards submission, as I just hit shortly about it, towards the meaning of feminism and femininity, and just really look towards the Bible. Whenever you feel confused, look back to the Bible and ask yourself, what does the Bible say about this topic? What does the Bible say about submission? What does the Bible say about female leadership? And just all these areas that bring so much confusion out here, just look into the Bible. There is answers for everything everywhere in the Bible. And so let's not look lost. Let's not look confused. Let us not be building falsified narratives. But for instance, here in Sustain Global, we look forward to creating sustainable narratives, sustainable solutions for different problems that we go through, so that we don't mislead people, so that we don't end up creating a lost society, but rather making solutions that even 10 years down the line, even 20 years down the line, somebody can come back and look at these and be encouraged and find something that is tangible, that is worth relying upon for a solution. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much. And as we move forward to our next episode, which is episode 9, I really hope that you guys can be encouraged. More and more is coming. And let me know if you have any topics that you want us to touch on. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for liking this video so far. And I hope we can go far together. I will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.